Hello, everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of
Israel Unleashed.
Welcome back, everybody. And we've been on a little hiatus because of the holidays. You know,
Yes.
we had Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Simchat Torah all wrapped into one. So
In
we
one
had a
month.
couple time off. And how was your holiday?
I was relaxing. It was good.
Nice. Was rejoicing, man. Was a good time.
Yes. Charging energies.
There we go. I can't complain myself. I got to spend the whole time with the family, so that was a plus, and got to enjoy the holidays. So thank God everything went on. And I don't know. So this week we're going to talk about mind control. And
Yes.
I was thinking the other day this is probably a good thing to talk about with Ellie because Ellie loves to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And it's been kind of the main focus about kind of what's been going on lately around the world and how people deal with governments and what's going on with the corona and bunch of other stuff. So like, you know, a lot of people are saying that like mind control is a big factor in today's society, and
Yes.
I like to agree with myself. So I don't know, I like to start off saying, like, you know, when I growing up in America, you know, there was like kind of experiments the CIA did on people, man, like on mass population or people they invited to come and do tests on and stuff like that. So it's not really a new topic, yeah. It's kind of an old topic, but there's also the American government wasn't the only group of people that were experimenting on this kind of stuff. And there's also movies about it. There's a movie called The Manchurian Candidate, and I think it comes from it was made in the '60s or something, and it talks about how basically using prisoners of war and brainwashing them to do their bidding, and you know, if they say to kill themselves, they express it very well in the movie, and I highly recommend somebody watching the original Manchurian Candidate. There's a second one that's later on with Denzel Washington, which is good, but it doesn't capture the grasp of the first one. The first one really goes into detail about what mind control really is, and it's kind of a fascinating movie, man, because it talks about how fucked up it is. And nowadays, I think, you know, you're seeing a lot more mind control with how they talk about things on TV, on shows that you might like, or the news, or how they kind of bring up a topic over and over, and you know, they expect you to fall in line and believe in it, or you know, or not even, you know, I don't know. There's also this kind of like you see things but don't ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Kind of whole mentality going on today, which makes things even more interesting. You know what I mean? But you can see within the last 10, 20 years, society has changed like literally upside down compared to what it used to be. I don't know if you can blame it on wars, you can blame it on changing of governments, the element, the atmosphere. I don't know. You can blame it on many things, but I mean, like, does it make it look like that there's an agenda out there more than ever? I mean, like, at one time you can say people were hiding this kind of stuff, but now it's like in the open. People don't care if you see it or if you don't see it. You know what I'm saying? It's either you kind of fall in line and do as you're told, or you know, or suffer the consequences. This is kind of where we're at today. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. I think when you born into it, you even not suspect that there is something wrong about the ideas that you are receiving from the TV, and but with time, it's like in Matrix. You have clues about that something isn't wrong, and you start to investigate, and you discover new things about world that you even didn't think about at all. So now I realize that rich people and people who try to rule the world, they are feeding us with their ideas of the world, the way they want us to see the world. It's so not untrue. It's, when you discover it, you are amazed.
Well, not only when you discover it, it's amazing, but when you start to read stuff on it, it's even more amazing. Because when you read stuff and then you actually see the groups that are involved that they talk about when you read about them and stuff, and how they actually manipulate people, you've opened your eyes to a whole other world. And then, you know, if you weren't looking before, it's a brand new picture. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, no. when I was 13, there was Carmier, for example, more left activists than the right wing. So
I still think that's true. Right? You know,
no, it's true, but the problem is that right activists are also receiving their information from also those kind of people. You know? So the truth is not that the truth is somewhere in between right and left. No, it's inside of something different things. It's so much different that we think. So much different.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing is that, like sitting with my wife a couple of days ago, we were talking about how there are people who don't know how to think, and like they just kind of basically do as they're told. They don't like sometimes you're sitting to yourself and you talk to yourself and you answer yourself and stuff like that. You're thinking. You know what I mean? I think we're in a time and an age where people aren't thinking, man, and they're using terms like woke and awake and all this kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So that there are people who are like kind of awake,
Mm-hmm.
But you have people who are like sleeping and they don't think, and and I honestly seen a movie called Dune where the guy was talking about how people need to after like the computers ran the world that they lived in and stuff like that, people were forced to think for themselves again where they didn't think before because the computers did it all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting thing too, because a lot of us rely on our like laptops, our computers at home, our telephones. People are, you can see when you're walking down the street, 20 people all on their telephone and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're inside something that their eyes are focused on it and stuff like that, and they spend so many hours. I mean, like obviously you're seeing technology manipulate people and how they think and how they feel, because especially as fast as they can get the information on the telephone,
Mm-hmm.
minutes after, even seconds after it happened. You know what I mean? And you have people. We also know that governments. It's not some secret that they watch you and listen to you through your own telephone. They know your location at all times.
If it was only that, I would.
I mean, that's not even a conspiracy theory. I mean, like living in Israel, for fuck's sake, you realize that the government's doing all of that, and they're not keeping that a secret. It's basically
try to keep it a secret. When they
No,
want to
now
watch you, they're telling you that they.
nowadays it's open though. They're not saying that it's a secret. They're saying that the reason they're giving you a reason why they're doing it is because of the
To
atmosphere.
keep you alive.
And they always say because of the security situation in the country and
Yes,
stuff.
they have excuse.
So that's kind of an excuse, which in a way it makes sense, yes. But there's obviously more to that meets the eye. As you can see, they're not going to tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? There's good and bad in that, obviously. But
And if I was telling you that they made this situation to be like that in order to watch you, what would you say about this?
I'm almost positive that they listened to me a while. I'll give you a reason why. I'm talking to you I'm telling you my back hurts and I've had problems with my back and all this kind of stuff and whatever, and it's been, and next thing you know, you open up your Facebook and you see nothing but advertisements for your back pain and how to stretch your back and all this kind of shit.
So your smartphone listens to you.
It listens to you, and also at times the phone, the camera goes on, and you don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Don't you find it funny that with the new cell phones are coming out, they're making the cameras even better and better and stuff like that. The lenses are bigger. I mean, that doesn't show you that the quality of kind of pictures and stuff that they want to take of you and watch you through the thing. It's more clearer than ever. You know what I mean? You have this 4D now and stuff like that. I mean,
I understand what you're saying. Me, I only have this type of phone, so I'm not really interested in the smartphones.
that's true.
From
This kind of phone, you have no
From
applications.
the very
and stuff.
beginning, when I saw that people are too much into it, I understood that their mind is already controlled
Right.
by this media, by this machine. I know the prisoner needs a phone to call his family. This is the reason I use phone.
Right.
The only
reason, honestly. I have the.
send and end. That's it. And if I have as SMS messages, it's like wow, it's a big bonus for me.
But I mean,
Seriously.
recently, I have a bigger phone with the applications and all that kind of stuff. And I'm on Facebook and shit like that. So recently I got kicked off of Facebook for no reason. They didn't tell me anything. They didn't tell me why, and I asked, and they still didn't answer me. So I got kicked off of Facebook for like a month. And honestly,
Recently?
Yeah, recently, for no reason. And so like for like a month, I mean, like I can open it up and I can look, but I can't respond. I can't like nothing. Can't do shit. I can just see what's on and stroll. I mean, honestly, it's a blessing, man. You know what I'm saying? An application kicks you off, doesn't let you do. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's people going crazy because they can't wait to get back on and say their feelings or like shit or share shit or whatever. I'm looking at it's a month of vacation from this. And when you're on a month vacation, you realize how much, I'm not saying this application grips me. I'm on it whenever I want to be on it and whatever, and I share things and I do things and whatever, but I mean, like, when you can't do that and stuff like that, they're stopping you from saying your rights or your freedoms or, because they're not allowed to do that, technically, but because it's their app and whatever by law, they control, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
But, it just shows that, you see online today, how basically people talk and then you can't say things, and if you're not in the narrative of how people think, they cut you off or they block you or they kick you off completely and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's part of this whole situation of mind control and stuff like that. It's not always in the mind. It's also how you view and do things, too. So, you're looking at what's going on today and how people are running things and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, I woke up, I grew up and I'm like, freedom was a big thing, man, and people can care less about it today, which is like mind-boggling, and which is even one step further, which is mind-boggling. I just read an article about how, talking about evil and stuff like that, and how people, it's like how evil's such a bright thing, man, it's not even, it's considered dark, but how people view evil, it's like they turn the cheek and they look the other way because they don't want to look at it, and they just accept it like it's okay, stuff like nowadays you see in our society how, like what recently just happened in Afghanistan with the Taliban, and how terrorism has won over, and they're in charge and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they're going door to door shooting people and stuff like that, it's like there's an appeasement for this from people today. They don't want to see evil. And at the end of the story that I was watching about the whole evil thing, it talked about Stalin, because he killed between 20 to 40 million people when he was in power. And so it went on about a whole socialism and communism and all that kind of shit. But he actually had a famous saying where one death is a tragedy and a million's just a statistic, And
Something like that.
You really think about those words, and that's scary. You know what I mean? One person he has compassion to, but a million can care less about him. But this is how people view evil today. They accept it, and it's okay, and whatever, and it's like it's not going to come near me or something.
Maybe it's part of mind control that they.
No, I know, but it is definitely a part of mind control, but the thing is the reality of how people think and how they act and what they believe today is it's not what people thought about 10, 20 years ago whatsoever. We're not even on the same planet, if you ask me. Now, 20 years, if you went back 20 years and things were going like they are today, I wouldn't, if you told me, I wouldn't even believe it. I'd be like, what? You know what I'm saying? But now we're living in a reality of you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake anymore. They can share something and tell you something and tell you how truthful it is. It's like the whole corona crap. It's like I believe there's a sickness and stuff like that, but the problem is that they're giving all this information out and they're saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work, and they're not telling you who's dying and who's getting sick, and they're not just talking about
playing with numbers.
Yeah, they're playing with numbers, and I'm not just talking about people who are getting sick from corona. I'm talking about people who have taken injections and stuff and have gotten blood clots or heart attacks and then from the side effects from the thing and stuff like that, so there's all this stuff that they're pumping out at you and stuff like that, and it's so overwhelming, but you don't know what's true and what's fake anymore. So it's that's definitely a form of mind control, man, because they're trying to scare the shit out of people, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just telling them the truth and telling them this is what you need to be aware of, how to protect yourself and la la la, like anything else, they have to pump up the jam on you, man, and give this throw this propaganda at you basically make you fucking crazy, keep you from work. You know, you have to get this vaccination, or you can't get this.
It's your only chance to repeat the.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I mean, I'm talking to somebody today, and I'm like, you know, I know how many people I know have gotten the vaccination and they got sick with corona. It doesn't save you from like, it doesn't stop you from getting sick. You can still get sick, but do you have a chance to have be safer from, you know, so you don't die? That's yet to be, you know, but.
I believe in much worse things.
I mean, that's just one example of. I mean, like,
it's
yeah,
okay. You're raising good questions. You're
yeah.
right.
I mean, there's. I don't even think I can get involved with all of everything that's actually on the table in this whole situation.
The problem there, most of the media are controlled by those people, and they don't want us to get the information in order to understand how to comprehend it. So
Well, it's not. It's not just
how
the.
to yes.
It's not the information. 100%. It's also they have an agenda of what they want you to know, what they want you to hear. You know what I mean? I mean, like, you know, you sit back and you look at what's really going on in like the world as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Not just here in Israel and stuff. You see what's going on in America or France and England and Italy and China and Iran or whatever. You know, and you put it all together. I mean, it's all like you're seeing that, like, you know, there's like something that's not kosher going on here. You know what I mean? You see everyone kind of working with each other, but working against each other, and like, you know, there's also this whole big kind of thing to put one group against another group, and then they want to make a war, and not just one little war, they want to make a war. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like something we haven't seen in 70 or 80 years, kind of war. You know what I mean? And how they're kind of manipulating people into kind of believing and going with the flow on that. You know what I mean? I mean, the fucked up thing is that you have people who can't even think for themselves anymore. They believe everything they hear on the radio or the TV or whatever. And they go with it.
Like little children. That's
not only they're little children. I mean, I call them sheep. You know what I'm saying? You're a perfect example of what a sheep is. You follow the, you know, it's like follow the leader. What are we?
Right. There are wicked people.
If you're not questioning what you following, that where are we going, man? I mean, like, you know, you have to have a logical kind of like, you know, explanation about, you know, if I'm following you, where are we going? You know what I'm saying? And when we're going to get there, and how long is it going to take, and what are we going to? I mean, you want to know shit, don't you? I mean, it's typical, actual questions that normal people ask on a daily level, but people are going with such a flow, they're not asking. And where are we going? You know what I'm saying? And what should we expect when we get there? You know what I mean? And this is what's scary, you know, because we have no idea. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have any fucking idea, and that's what's kind of like, you know. Like, you know, what's going to happen between now and the next year, if not 5 years? I mean, because we're obviously not going to be in the same position we are now. I mean, the world's changed in the last 10 years more than I've seen the world change my whole life, you know what I mean? And
yes.
I don't know. I just find it like kind of like mind-boggling, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, you know, when I ask certain questions to certain people, they don't want to give you an answer, and they don't want you to know an answer, and you're like kind of asking yourself why.
Please forgive me.
No,
keep on talking.
Definitely, but, you know, so
I know.
I find it interesting, but you know, and when it comes to like complete mind control and stuff like that, exactly what are all the aspects about it, and you know, who's really involved? I mean, honestly, we don't even know who's involved and who really runs anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? You can ask different people, and they'll give you a different answer. And, that's what's interesting too, because not everybody thinks the same. So. If we all thought the same, Dan, that'd be kind of scary, you know, because what would be capable of then, that should be interesting. That's probably a topic for another day. But, I don't know. So the world we live in today, man, and it's more intriguing than it ever's been, and there's so much going on, and so many people involved, and so many people working with each other, working against each other, and stuff like that, and the way they pump in the news to you, you have no idea what's true, what's not true, so I mean, it even makes it more intriguing because you don't know what's in the abyss and what's basically beyond that, man, and what's going to happen when we get there, or what should we expect when we get there. You know what I mean? I'm talking to friends of mine and stuff like that, and like I'm like in a position where I'm like, you know, I'm seeing that they have no rights, they have no freedoms like, you know, we grew up on and what we were taught. Basically, what America was built on. You know what I'm saying? Because you know nowadays. You're not seeing that anymore, and you got loads of people who were basically in charge of the internet and the media and all that stuff who were like trying to get you to believe something that you're not believing in. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about how people have an agenda and stuff like that. They want you to believe certain things and stuff because they're in control of shit. But
Yes, that's the sad part. That, they are not telling you that they want to control you, use you, and eventually kill you. They're not telling you that. Instead of that, they want you to hate some other group, to buy their things that they propose you, and to be so sure in your ideas and the ideas that they convinced you in. So it's not normal. You see people on the streets so sure of their that they're telling the truth and they see the world the right way. You not even capable of talking to them. It's so sad.
you have people who they believe one thing and one thing only, and that's basically what they see and they hear and they know. You know what I'm saying? And you don't believe like that. If you don't believe like them, how insane they get with you because you don't believe like them. I mean, how could you not believe like that? They're telling you on the news this is how it is. You can't even have a dialogue with that kind of person.
Yes, there are people like that.
Well, more than ever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, nowadays you see people even online, they're shaming people and they're trying to get them fired from their job and ruin their life. I've never seen such a judgment on people like this in my life, you know what I mean? Basically ruin somebody's life and you got a family, fuck your family, fuck your kids. Really? So you and me didn't agree on something? This is how you have to come at me? Like this, you see this more than ever, and that just shows how deep and how involved people are in certain things and how they carry their views towards others. You know what I mean? And it's on an unprecedented level today, more than ever. It's not only is it unprecedented, it's an extreme. People are such an extreme that and the fact that one side literally is against the other. And it's they're not even anywhere close to coming close together. I agree with you and you agree with me and whatever, we have some sort of understanding and stuff like that.
Or we agree to disagree.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also a solution.
But there's not even that. That's not even on the table anymore.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's just wow.
That's a problem. Yes.
That is a problem. And the thing to say where are we going from here? And what's going to happen when we get there? You know what I'm saying? What are we building up to? And it's like a bubble. It's ready to explode.
There is no plan. They are not preparing us for no plan. Not telling us nothing. They're just trying. They showing us picture they are trying to survive and to fix the mistakes that previous leader did. But I personally so much don't like our leaders.
No, I think they're full of shit and they'll work with each
They
other.
hide so much things.
They might have different agendas, but the majority, there is somebody in the power of it all, and they're all working together.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's my problem.
Yeah.
It's not even their corruption that are disturbing me. The fact that they're working together and hide it and show us, things that they want to show us. It's annoying.
It isn't. It mind boggles me to a point. I look at what's going on in America. I'm distraught about what I see. I'm just I literally have no fucking words, and I'm just I can't. It wasn't the country I left. People didn't even think like that or act like that.
Total collapse of society.
Pretty much. Honestly,
People don't respect each other.
No, not at all. I'm personally I think we're at the end of this society that we know. We're not. I don't feel we're evolving or anything. We're always evolving, of course, because that's how the wheel of life works. But evolving intellectually and thinking outside the box and making ourselves. I don't even think we're not even going that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you need that to have you need those couple of things to make a society survive even longer. But you see with movies, they're just regurgitating old movies and new movies and making sequels and after they're making into TV shows. There is no
See movies of today.
It's art's dead, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, totally.
It's been such corrupted by such greedy people that they just want to feed you shit. You know what I'm saying? And people are just taking it because that's all they know. You know what I'm saying?
At the beginning, they show you violent movies,
Yeah.
make you to act violently,
Yeah.
and then
Video
get you
games.
into
Video
prison.
games. Yeah, video games are the same thing. You know, speaking of movies and stuff. I mean, I watched some movie and I don't even remember the name of it, but it was this guy named Ethan Hawke. You know, he was some sort of video gamer and whatever. And in the end, and like in the middle, you know, whatever. In the movie, they took him to basically fly drones and stuff. And you know what they do with drones? They fly over and they shoot shit at people and kill them. You know what I'm saying? So this is what his job became after he was a gamer. You know? But I mean, like, you know, you're right. You're using video games and you're using TV and stuff like that, and violence is always like kind of like the first kind of, basically, you know, there's no storyline anymore. It's just violence, violence upon violence, and you know what I'm saying, that's the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
This in like and it's so quick, and they're doing karate shit and flying through. I mean like stuff obviously people can't obviously fucking do, but I mean, this is what you see every day, all day long, and whatever. And plus, if it's not that, it's sex and stuff like that. It's stuff that intrigues people, that gets to what, you know, people emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything in everything you watch, you listen to, or you hear, you have an emotional reaction to.
Of course.
But I don't really think that people really come to the point where they understand that. You know what I'm saying? That they don't. They just think they just see something. Oh, okay, doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, even if it doesn't bother you right then and there, hours later, you can still think about.
I heard that the psychology of a person is built to handle his own problems. I mean, he sees the problem of someone else on TV, he's taking it to his heart, and makes him weak and unhealthy. All those things.
Well, you know, I think you just said it perfect right there. You're growing up and you're thinking to yourself how you're going to handle your problems. You know what I'm saying? And now you're being fleshed complete. This is everybody else's problems and stuff like that. When do you have time to take care of your own? So I mean, that's an interesting, like, kind of point of view from basic mind control. You know what I'm saying? That you're not really getting the time to think for yourself anymore, but you're getting pumped completely daily about other people's problems and wars and situations and things, and you're making an emotion towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, after seeing it over and over, obviously it controls you to some point, which makes it interesting because, you know, it just shows how fragile you are. You know what I'm saying? It really don't take that much mind power to like make people switch into, like, you know, look, it's like, for example, like, you know, you have, you know, like a couple of years back there were, you know, there wasn't no gay marriages, and there's, you know, it wasn't even like considered okay in public. Now it's okay in public, and now people can go get married, and then all of a sudden everybody accepts this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like within, like, you know, before some years nobody would accept this kind of stuff, and all of a sudden overnight, like, the whole thought of that and everybody accepting that is like an unprecedented level. You know what I'm saying? It's like, where did people in society change so much like that? I mean, I'm using that as an example, you know what I'm saying? But
I think it went wrong when the husband and the wife stopped to understand each other.
right.
When
Well, you also see TV kind of tearing, like, families apart.
yes,
You know what I mean?
it's alright to separate families. It's okay to live with two fathers. It's okay to live two mothers.
I mean, you know, like, we were growing up. I mean, like, you know, you got in trouble, your parents would beat you and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, you can't beat. I mean, your kids can call the police on you.
Yes.
Your own kids can put you on jail if you touch them. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I mean, like, this is kind of. I mean, like, the whole fabric of society has changed in such a way that, like, you know, it's not for you. It's against you. And it's been against you.
Yes.
Gaining momentum for a long time. And, you know, I mean, the way they wanted you to politically correct things, and you need to act a certain way, I mean, it should scare the shit out of people.
Of course.
I mean, because it's going every day and whatever, and it's looking like it's something normal, and when it's truly, it's not.
I mean, instead of helping those parents to be more polite with their children, more understand them, they help the society to collapse and to separate
Yeah.
from each other. And then, when it's not, we are not like acting like they want us to act. They think about bad things, like we are primitive and we are not modern like them. It's,
You know, it's funny you bring that up too, because, you know, it's like, you see that I call it in the past couple of videos we talked about anti-Semitism and how it's been on a rise and how it's like in hundreds of percents. It's not like a little drop. It's something big, you know what I mean? And you see that with Corona and stuff like that, and like the way the lockdowns are, and then people aren't making money. That more and more anti-Semitism has come from this. You know what I'm saying? And it's as if you've noticed, it's not okay to talk about minorities or groups of color or stuff like that, but it's okay to talk about Jews because they're the ones to blame. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the age-old kind of like, what anti-Semitism has basically come from is turn around and blame us. And you see a lot of this more and more than ever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm seeing articles about it in the newspaper of all sorts of different news companies in the world. I mean, we're talking about it daily. And it's been an ongoing thing. Plus, you have like a lot more attacks than we ever have and stuff like that. But you also have like, I'll use this guy for an example. I can't stand this guy, but his name's Louis Farrakhan. He's the leader of the Nation of Islam in Chicago. And he's come out publicly blaming Jews for running the banks and the businesses and the movies and Hollywood, and basically Israel's bad and they're Satan, like how Iran views us. And then, you should go out and attack Jews, and you see a lot more black people in America, in like New York, for example, attacking more Jews openly with rocks and beating them up in gangs and trying to hit them with cars and stabbing them and all sorts of stuff. Then like on such a level that you've never seen before. But you have a guy that nobody would ever listen to in the past because of his stance and how he viewed things is mainstream today, and basically convincing people like Arafat, go out and kill Jews. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is how he was. He'd get on TV and talk about killing us and stuff like that, and convincing people to go buy knives and stab us and kill us and all sorts of stuff. And, people are manipulating this kind of things today, and people are listening to it. And people are going out and reacting towards it, which is another thing of mind control. You know what I mean?
Yes. How a violent person thinks to himself, I'm going to kill someone, and after that I will feel more freely, something like this. That's all. Instead of handling his own problems, I will blame someone else in my problems. I will get rid of him. And after that, I think what I'm doing with my life.
That's true. I always thought if you were going to kill somebody like that, that would never, you'd always have that in your brain, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you doing what you did bad and stuff like that. It would be something you could, it's like, because you always see people who go to war and shit like this and they come back and they're traumatized with the stuff that they've seen and things that they've done. I mean, you'd think killing is, the way people talk about, I'm just going to go kill this guy, whatever, and like, think the same way. I mean, obviously, when you want to go kill somebody, it's a passion of hate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not going up because you like some guy and you're going to whack his ass. You're going up to fucking kill him because you fucking hate his guts. You know what I'm saying? And you're building upon your hate. You know what I mean? But we're living in a world today where hate is taking like center stage. You know what I'm saying? All other than us telling people we love you and you should hug and kiss people every day. I mean, people talk about let's go out and kill people. You know what I'm saying? And it's on an unprecedented level today more than ever. And you got governments that ain't helping. No. In the slightest, you know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean, like, it's like just yesterday I heard the government of Syria talk to the UN. You know what I mean? And here's this guy standing up basically saying how we should have a war and we should kill the Jews and we should kill the Turkish and take back our land. And it's, we have every right to do that because of international law. And I mean, all this guy's whole speech was nothing about war, man. You know what I'm saying? And they've already had a terrible fucking war since 2011 till now, you know what I mean? That's not ending, and it probably won't end. But here he's talking about let's do some more war, Let's use the Russians, just use Hezbollah, you know what I mean?
This is how they manipulate people instead of,
that's why
they said. It's nationalism. What is nationalism?
Yeah, man, get you all, I know.
Instead of handling your own problem, in your own
But that's why I said that, like,
let's blame someone.
You have leaders today that are not helping. They're actually pushing that agenda and they're doing it openly. It's not something they're hiding. That's why I say they're not hiding this kind of shit anymore. They don't care if you see it.
There are things they're hiding.
They themselves, because they don't, they're hiding behind the scenes. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to do that because,
They have no problem to show you those people who are killing their own people.
Right.
But they are themselves do not represent it. to us that they are by themselves are like that. If the good leaders are actually bad leaders, think about that.
Right.
Bad leaders are bad. We all agree that Assad is bad leader.
Right.
Okay, but if
People who try to do good, whatever.
if we will see all the good leaders are actually bad, we are in the problem. This is the problem.
You want an interesting thing that's like, you know, you have a politician, he says whatever the hell he wants and he does whatever he wants, and nobody, you know, people question him or get angry or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like once that guy becomes a leader, where's all that spark at? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You realize that he's not talking like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. It's not like he doesn't feel the same way. He probably does, but he realizes I'm a leader now, and I can't be like the way I was. But I mean, you ever notice that every leader's like that?
I noticed.
They talk like a dog in the beginning and stuff, and we're like barking and you know getting everyone to know how they think and how they feel. But they're a leader now, and all of a sudden, you know, they changed you a different face. You know, they smile in your face.
Most of the time, I thought about that the leaders become corrupt the minute they become leaders.
Well, of course.
But recently, I heard another explanation.
Every politician's become a millionaire.
But it's one way of seeing it.
Sure. I'm not saying everyone's bad. The bulk of them, yeah, yes.
Another way to see it, I heard this explanation like a month ago, that the minute they become leaders, they actually understand who rules the world actually.
Right.
And those people, and this is you have a sentence in Hebrew that said, what you are seeing from there, you are not seeing from here.
Right.
You understand it?
Yeah.
After that, I understand a little bit differently, but I agree on that. Maybe the people above explain them what the condition really is. So I have to straight the line with them, and that's it.
I agree.
This is the end.
Like speaking about Israeli politics for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Where you had Bibi who kind of basically did everything like all the other leaders and stuff, and look what I've done, and I built this, and I'm like, you know, I'm mightier than anything, you know. And then there's Bennett, you know what I'm saying, and he's going to Washington or something to get his fucking, you know, his orders from the president and stuff like that, and the president says something one day, and 2 days later here's Bennett on the news saying the same thing word for word in our language, you know what I mean? And you know, and it's like you can see that like who's playing the game and who doesn't know how to play the game yet, you know what I mean? And I mean, like it's like you said, you see who the true leaders of the world are and stuff like that, and you know they have to fall in line or they're getting to get it themselves, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What's interesting, because you know there was assassination in the village not too long ago from here, not too long ago, not too far from here, and you know the guy he was like a second in command of one of the people in the government here and stuff like that, and he got shot 21 times, and not only get shot 21 times, but the people who shot him managed to clean up all the bullet casings so no one can identify them or whatever. Clean them up and leave the scene, and then like after that day you never heard another word about it, you know what I'm saying? But that obviously sent a message to somebody,
Of course.
you know what I'm saying? And it shows that the people on top should be fucking scared, because you know we can get rid of this guy, we can get rid of you too, you know what I'm saying? I mean, somebody is sending some sort of message to somebody, but it's not just to us sometimes, it's obviously sometimes to them, you know what I'm saying? So there is some sort of agenda and stuff like that. You do, I guess, apparently have to play the game, because if you don't play the game, then you know you see what happens. And you know we're living in this kind of world. But the thing is, who's really involved? Who's the? No one has any. I mean, obviously somebody knows, but I mean, nobody has an idea who what it is, or who's in charge. You know what I'm saying? Now you have conspiracy theories about groups like the Illuminati and I think there's something 300. I don't know. There's all sorts of names for all these fucking people, and there are all sorts of people who give their kind of opinion on who they think is involved, like the Queen of England, or like some shadow government in America or in England, or I mean like they say it's like the 1%. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what the fuck is the 1%? You know, I mean, is it just all the people who have all the money or who control the corporations and this and that? I mean, obviously they got sway in a lot of political stuff, but. Are they really the ones that, like, are they considered the 1%? We have no idea who's really pulling the strings.
We have no idea, but we can assume people with the more money than the others, they have more percentage of being to answer those accusations that you presented.
I mean, you see the guy from like WikiLeaks. Remember that guy, this
Yes.
Julian Assange guy? It come to the point where you had people who wanted to present the truth and give it to people and make it and give it to you in such a raw way. You know what I'm saying? That look what these people are doing and look what they're actually doing and stuff like that. And it started to open up people's eyes and gain a lot of traction because it wasn't just one little secret. It was like boxes full of it. You know what I'm saying? And tons of information and stuff like that. I mean, the guy even posted it online. You can download it, whatever. And I mean,
It's good. It's good that he started those things.
look how fast they shut him up after.
They accused him of raping someone like
but,
this. When they want to
I mean, you see some things.
get rid of something, they accuse him of those things.
You see some things that are going on. It's like you can almost say what's going to happen next, and it's like a bad script of a bad.
You
movie,
see, it's
know
like
what
a
I mean?
real information.
Yeah.
Imagine people talking about those things that he revealed in TV this evening. It will make you smarter because you get the actual information.
Get actual information, but exactly nowadays you have to decide what's real and what's not real information. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I agree with
I mean,
you.
I get all sorts of people quote like stuff that they've heard off the news. It's not true whatsoever.
I don't try to present him as the true speaker,
Right.
but his information is more truly than the one you get on TV. This is the sad truth. You know? It's more
Well,
close. I assume it's more closer because
No, I agree with you, but it's like another.
it's
thing.
less accessible, so it's it's
I-
more
I'll-
hidden.
I'll give you another little example. You have, in Israel, you have a lot of archaeology because they have a lot of history here and stuff like that. And you see that, certain groups of people they want to erase your history so you have no claim or or whatever on it. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, you're not just seeing that here. You're seeing that worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Where you're getting a lot of people who are trying to literally change history. I mean, now you see it more than ever. You know what I'm saying? Like people who are in power, or they have like some sort of power that they're trying to change the history of how you view things and how you should look at things, and basically trying to tell you how to think.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? This is history, man. This is what you should believe. Don't believe nothing else. I mean, really? I mean, what happened to my God-given right of freedom of to be able to think for myself, you know what I mean? And
Freedom
I'll
to
tell you, I'll tell
investigate.
myself what's wrong and right. Who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, but this is where we're at, you know what I mean? This is what's makes you open up your eyes. You have all these hidden topics that we sat here and talked about pretty much up till now, and we realize that there's more than a few, and it's a massive amount of information coming at you. It's like bombarding you, you know what I mean? And, I mean, you can only take in so much, you know what I'm saying, before you realize, you have to take in kind of one at a time, or you can take a couple. I mean, it depends on how your mind works. But how much knowledge are you getting? But how much knowledge are you getting that's actually true? You know what I mean?
I think God leads you towards the true information.
That's what I like to believe. But you have people who are even going out against.
But you are not free. You still have the.
Well, let's be honest. Free will is basically to make up your own mind and your own.
That's right. That's right. But also you have to, with your own mind, you have to act with actual things.
Right.
And whether those actual things will be brought to you or not depends on if you're if you're righteous or not, something like that.
I got you. It's interesting. No, but
Think about it.
No, what you said is something. It's big. It's deep. It's
yes.
It's something to sit back on and
I agree.
kind of you got to open up your mind and
think
and
about
think
this,
about it and stuff
yes.
like that. But I mean, I'm a true believer nowadays that you need to come out the box and start thinking. Where if you weren't thinking before, you need to think today.
You have absolutely no.
I mean, I personally think it's important to be in the know about what you think's going to happen. Prepare yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can have other people prepare shit for you. You have to prepare things for yourself because
That's right.
you're walking your own road and your own
Yeah,
journey.
that's
You're just
right.
going with the collective, like a bee. You know what I mean? Or the hive, and everyone going. But we all have our, no matter what people do or what people say, we all have our own agenda in life. No matter what, we all have our own path we need to follow. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But the question is, you're talking about like, you're talking about Bill Gates, and he can make some sort of vaccination that, like, you don't believe in God anymore, and there's an actual thing where he's sitting telling the CIA this. I can develop this and make this happen, and.
Mhm.
And the guy all of a sudden he's bought all this fucking farmland, and and he's basically telling if you ain't gonna take. I don't know if you've heard this, but if you don't take the vaccine, they're putting it in food, so that like you're forced to take the vaccination in the long run, regardless if you know it or not. What I'm
There are
saying?
things that we cannot affect on.
No, I understand, but I mean I'm saying the world we're living in and how it's going and what people are thinking about doing to other people, it's mind-boggling. Not only is it mind-boggling, it's scary, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look, you and me were growing up in the last century, man, you know what I'm saying? And our kids are growing up in this century and stuff like that, but on the other hand,
They are facing much more danger than
we
we
know
are.
from our grandparents and our parents the dangers of the past, you know what I'm saying? Because they taught us this, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's our job to teach our children this, but the problem is that our children aren't growing up the way we grew up, you know what I'm saying? And they're growing up with how they're being instructed how to grow up. And there's a difference between that and us,
We have to take give as much tools as we can to our children in order to make them face the danger things that they are about to face.
if you ask me, they've been facing it for a long time. The question is, nowadays you see more and more parents are starting to be more and more active where they weren't before. They weren't saying, they were just
That's a good thing.
basically leaving it in their hands, and and you see the outcome, when it comes to this whole Corona shit and how they want what their kids to believe in and how they want your kids to think. I mean, they're more confused. I see my child more confused than I was ever at that age. You know what I'm saying? Because the information he's getting bombarded with, you know what I mean, and how he's being taught what to believe and how to believe. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, you and me are teaching our children at home how to believe and what to believe in and whatever, but they're obviously getting more from outside because they're outside the majority of the day compared to the time you're at home. There's only so much time that you can spend while you're at work, and and you need to supply for them and stuff like that. At home, you have a couple hours with them at night, and then they go to sleep. You know what I mean?
That's
And then they have a
the
little
part
bit
of
in the morning.
it's the part of the condition that we are working in.
That is true. But the problem is, what's interesting about this whole situation is that, like, how much are you in control of? You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you might be in control of your destiny to some point. But I mean, like, the way you're seeing things and you're hearing things and how things are going on in your environment and stuff like that, and your mind is like a computer. It's sucking all this in at a certain rate, and they know that. You know what I'm saying? That what is the outcome for you in the end? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I believe that some of us are going to win this situation. Some of better parts of our society are going to not to be conquered by them or by the evil forces.
well, the problem is that nobody wants to get up and fight. A lot of people have lost their will to fight, man. They're just
their hope.
adapting. They lost their hope, man, and they're adapting to the situation, which isn't healthy and stuff like that. But you're right. There are people who are fighting for this. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you have people who are going through it a legal way, and you have people who are going through it any legal way. But I mean, you have people fighting for it, which is a good sign and stuff like that. No, I'm a true believer. We should fight for it too. I don't think you should give up on anything. I mean, what's yours is yours. You should hold on to it and never let go. But when it comes to this certain situation, this topic, there's a lot of it in the field, and a lot of it needs to be understood. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yes.
Whatever happens in the outcome in the future, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But definitely, if you're watching us and you still love us, we'll just let you know that we love you back, and hopefully we're sending our love towards you, man, so you can feel it. And keep up the strong fight, man, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Never give up, you know what I mean? Trust in God.
And stay true to yourself.
And trust in God, man. Let him,
Keep on questioning all the things you
Yeah,
hear.
man, always question. Never shut up, man. Definitely say what you need to say. Don't be afraid, man. We're all going to die eventually, but, hey, better to fight going out than, standing there and taking it.
Better to be how do you say it? But in the back of the animal
The ass.
Further.
Even further? Oh, the shit?
No, no, no.
No.
The nail? No, not nail. Tail.
The tail.
Better
Oh,
be
okay, I'm
the
sorry.
tail of the lion
Yeah.
than the head of the sheep.
Nah, that's a good point, man. Keep that for next time. Man.
Okay, thank you for watching.
You're welcome.
Listen, I have